All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Isabel's monthly webinar. This is going to be about everything you need to know about the Isabel's mobile app. So this webinar, we have specifically doing this just we're getting a lot of mobile app questions, and people who are trying to do it themselves. So we thought let's go with a webinar which is detailed on mobile app, how you start with the mobile app, how you can configure your settings, all that stuff, right? So in this webinar, we have the topics here. So I'm going to start with absolute basics, right? Like, you've downloaded the phone app and the first thing that you see from that screen, we will start, and then I'm going to explain everything. In a moment, I will share screen from my mobile, and then we will do it live, right? So the first, we will see how we can connect what are different methods of connecting an EasyBills mobile phone app with your EasyBills account, right? Going forward, then we're gonna go into supplier bills, which is straight like if you get paper bills and if you want to quickly use your phone app to put them in your Xero, QuickBooks, or MyUp, whichever software you're using, how you can do that. Going forward, we will go to spend money, company credit cards, and then eventually employee expense claims, right? So I'm going to show you how you can configure multiple spend money or credit card settings or even employee expense claim settings, and how if one employee has, let's say, two different credit cards and he also submits expense claims, so he need three different settings. How will that be done? So I'm going to show you that, and we're going to do live testing about it. Lastly, we have a special case wherein it's for example, we've taken Simpro example, right? If I have spent an expense and I want to put that expense or receipt onto a job in Simpro rather or on a PO in Simpro. So we have taken that example as to how you can do it with the help of mobile app and workflows. But this is not just one example. If you have cases wherein you would want to achieve different objectives, we can do it with workflows, and we can design mobile phone app to upload onto workflow so that objective is achieved, right? So, all right, so let's go ahead. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly bring my Easy Bills. All right, so now this is my Easy Bills account, right? The first thing that we want to do when we want to connect an Easy Bills phone app to Easy Bills account is obviously you get two different options when you download Easy Bills. And then when you want to connect, when you open the EasyBills app for the first time, you get two different options. First one is your username and password, and the second one is login with QR code. Now I'm gonna share screen from my mobile in about a moment, but we'll just focus here and then show you where the QR code is and why there are two different logins, right? So why there are two different methods. So if you have created an account, your username and password, and you can use it to log in into your EasyBills phone app, right? But you have people like you have guys on the field, you have technicians on the field, and then you want to give them access. You're not comfortable sharing your password and username with people on the field, right? And it's not secure as well. So in that case, that is the reason we have the second method, which is login with QR code. In that, what you all need to do is if in your EasyBill account, if you go into your settings option, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into settings, and in account settings. So in settings, we have three sections: account settings, approvals and expenses, and then advanced options. We want to go into account settings, and in account settings, you will see there is this little barcode there, right? QR code. So that is the QR code that you will use when you are using the second option from the mobile phone app. So if you're going to use login with QR code, this is the QR code, right? But this is on your computer, on your screen. How do you send this to the guys on the field? For that reason, we have this link here. See, all you've got to do is just click on this, email me the EasyBills mobile how to. As soon as you click on that link, EasyBills is gonna email you a document that has the detailed instructions, right? I'm gonna take you to that document now. So I'm gonna go into my email. Now this is the email, right? And then if we see there is an attachment. So if I open the attachment, this is how it looks. So it this attachment has this PDF has basic instructions from step by step, right? So this is what you do. When you want to give access to people who are on the field or someone else that you're not, you know, um, you are okay with sharing your password. So you download that file, and once you get that file in your email, you just simply forward that file. Or if you own a restaurant and if you want to have your guys to have access it, you can just take a printout of the first page where you see the QR code and stick it somewhere. So the QR code is always there. So new people have come in, you tell them just follow the instructions, and he just goes there, reads everything, and then sets up his own EasyBills, right? Instructions are pretty simple. So you download the EasyBills app, then you click on login with QR code, and then you just log in. You just scan the QR code. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to my app. I'm gonna share screen from my app, and then we will do this live. We are on. So now I'm on my mobile phone, and I'm looking at the EasyBill. This is the screen that uh, that you get when you try to log in. So I'm gonna use login with QR code option, right? And then the screen opens up where you can see my desk, you can see my mouse. So I'm gonna just point this to the QR code that we just downloaded from the PDF from the email, right? And now you can see I'm connected. So I've scanned that QR code and I'm straight away connected. At the top, you can see it says NZ branch. That's basically the username of my company, my EasyBills username, right? Now, as soon as you're connected, you are ready to go. You can start uploading supplier bills straight away. If you want to cross-check a few settings, I'll take you to settings and then I'll explain what do we have. So you see there are three different settings. First one is review receipt. What review receipt does is if you enable it, then what it does is when you click a picture of any receipt, it shows you the extracted contents and then you need to click submit. So it's like a review process, right? Multi-page is obviously for if you have multiple, if you're uploading bills, they have multiple pages, you can go with multi-page. Edge detection is usually to detect the edges, but I would recommend just keep it off. It doesn't really make a difference. Now I have a receipt here. What I'm gonna do, so the first is we've connected, and as soon as you're connected, you anything you upload that will be uploaded as supplier bills, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and scan something here. Right, so I have a receipt. I'm just gonna click picture, right? Uploading, and it says invoice uploaded successfully, right? And if you have updated your app, so previously we just had one option. You can click scan now, and then you can click pictures, right, of the receipts. But now we also have added a new feature wherein if you go to scan now, so if you go to scan now, and then if you click on this corner, this icon you see that's uploading from gallery. So your gallery will show up and then you can choose images from your gallery and then you can just upload it. For example, this Bunnings, I've just uploaded a Bunnings and it says invoice uploaded successfully, right? So it's that simple. So all you've got to do is connect your phone app and then straight away, as soon as you start clicking pictures, it will go straight away to your EasyBills. Now, going back to EasyBills, right? So we've come back on the account, EasyBills account here. So now we downloaded that file, we sent it to technicians on the field. They followed the steps. They connected their phone app with with EasyBills account, and then uploaded a few bills, right? Now that's done. That's how simple it is, right? So it's straightforward. And now we can see that there are two documents. So I uploaded one receipt and a Bunnings bill. So I uploaded this straight away from camera. And then this one we have used the latest feature wherein you can select the document from gallery, right? That's how we have uploaded the Bunnings. And as you can see, both of them successfully exported supplier invoice to zero. So if we go to zero, those bills will be there. So this is gonna be the Bunnings bill, and this is gonna be the receipt. Yeah, right. So both of them are here. Now this is the method of uploading supplier bills, right? So now you'll ask, what about spend money, or how about expense claims, right? We're going to go there in about a moment. So as you can see, the file that we downloaded, it gave you all the instructions, and at the bottom it also had alias. So after this, that there is a list of alias. This is list of users that we will add in the settings, right? For configuring spend money or configuring expense claims, whenever we want to configure those settings. For supplier bills, you don't need any settings. You simply connect your phone app and then you click pictures right away. You start uploading right away, right? But when you want to process something as either spend money or company credit card transaction, or an employee expense claim, that is when we need to add a few settings in EasyBills, and then we need to replicate the half, like you will add settings in EasyBills, you will add alias names, and then you have to copy them on your mobile phone app, right? So I'm going to take you to the page where you will add the spend money settings first, right? All right, so let's go into settings. And let's go into approvals and expenses. So in approvals and expenses, where you see list of users approvers, this is where you will add the settings, extra settings that are needed for spend money and your employee expense claims. I'm going to first start with spend money, right? Now in spend money, what we do is anything that is uploaded as a spend money or company credit card transaction, we will go into your zero, and then we're going to put them underneath the connected bank account, whichever account you have connected or configured. We will put them underneath that account. For example, I have Westpac Credit and ING Main. So if I have configured Westpac Credit card, then what we will do, we will go, when we export the receipt or the bill, we will put it here as an unreconciled transaction. Right. So now when we want to configure this, the key thing that is required from your zero bank account section or your Maya bank account section is the last 4 digits of the card, or the credit card or the bank account. So the last 4 digits are crucial because that is what you will enter in EasyBills, right? And when you enter these last 4 digits, that's how EasyBills knows that we need to put this particular receipt on 147 at account, which is Westpac Credit, this particular receipt in 5896 account, which is ANZ Main Credit Card, right? So now I'm going to configure both of these for myself, right? In my EasyBills account, I'm going to configure both of this for myself. Let's see how. So let's configure the first one, Westpac Credit Card. The last 4 digits, as you can see, it's a little bit small. So that's 1478 are the last 4 digits, right? So I'm gonna go back to my EasyBills. I'm gonna click. So I am in settings, approvals and expenses in list of users. I'm gonna click add approver. And now I know I'm adding Westpac credit card, right? So I need to give an alias name, which I need to write it in my mobile phone app as well. So this alias name, you can pretty much say, let's say Westpac. Westpac credit card, right? You can type it as Westpac credit card. You can type a number. You can type any combination. The, but understand that anything that you have typed in as alias name, we will copy it in your mobile phone app. And when we export that receipt in your bank account, the alias name will get added to the reference field, right? So if it's a case where the bank account or the card is your parent account, and then you have 6 different cards underneath that, and those 6 cards are with 6 different people, and you also want to know this expense or this receipt is coming from who, that's when you can do is you can just add the name of the person. So I'm just gonna say Westpac Kedar, right? If there are 6 cards, then I'm just gonna say Westpac Kedar, so on and so forth. So I'm just gonna say this now. As I said, last 4 digits are very crucial. This is 1478. So I'm just gonna put 1478 in my business bank account section. 1478, right? So far we have just added two things. Name of your choice. You can put it anything. It's not a problem. Business bank account that comes from 0 in banking account section, the last 4 digits. And now depending on whether you want anything that this person uploads, whether you want it to go to approval or you want it to bypass approval and straight go in 0, depending on that condition, you will either tick this box. If you want to bypass approval, you will take this bypass approval box. And if you don't want to bypass, if you want anything that this person uploads, even if it's a credit card receipt, you want it to go to someone for approval, then you need to put the email address here, right? Right? Under no circumstances, you can put both of the things together, approval or bypass, right? You have to decide. So if you want it to go up to approval, put in the email address in approval email. If you want to bypass and straight away go in 0, then you gotta tick. So for the testing, I'm just gonna hit bypass approval. That's all you need. We have added all the three things that we need. We've added the alias name, we've added the business bank account number, and we've also said no need of approvals, bypass approval. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and click save approval. Right? As soon as you click save approval, you will see that EasyBills also gives you an upload email address, right? So now you have both the options. You can also use the mobile phone app, or you can also use this specific email address for these settings that you have configured. Meaning, whether you put this alias in your mobile phone app and then select it and click a picture, or you just send that receipt to this particular email address, it will have same effect. It will be processed as a spend money transaction on 1478 business card or business bank card, right? So now what I'm going to do, and let's go ahead and let's do the employee expense. Let's just configure the other bank account as well. So the other one is ANZ main account, and the last 4 digits are 5896. I'm going to click on add approval again, and this is going to be ANZ main account, right? Last 4 digits, just to be sure, 5896. 5896. Again, bypass approval. Now, as soon as I click on save approval again, EasyBills is going to give us another unique upload email address, which is for that setting, right? Now you see the format remains the same. The first part of that email is your username, and then the second part is whatever you put it in alias. The format remains the same, but they are both unique email addresses, and you can either choose to upload it on email or use the alias, right? Now, this is how you configure spend money settings in your EasyBills account, right? We are yet to go to the mobile phone app part of the settings, but let's finish this and then we will go there. So I have configured two spend money or company credit card settings based on my Xero account. I have two accounts that I've done that. Now, what I want to do is sometimes I just don't have my cards with me and I spend from my own pocket. So it's like an employee expense claim. So in that case, I'm just going to add myself as a user again, and I'm just going to say Kedar.exp. You can choose any name, right? I'm just choosing my name, and EXP just has a short for expenses. So I know when I'm going to use this alias, I'm processing it as an expense claim. And having names, which will then lead to clear understanding of what is it that you are processing. For example, when I have all these three settings in my mobile phone app, I know ANZ main is my ANZ credit card, Westpac Kedar is my Westpac credit card, and Kedar EXP is my expense claim setting, right? So I'm going to choose the right one before uploading the receipt. So in this, the only difference is instead of adding anything in business bank account, because this is an expense claim, you're going to take on my expenses. That is the only difference between spend money and expense claims is with a spend money, you attach a business bank account from your zero, the last four digits. With an expense claims, there is no bank account because it's spent from your employee's pocket. You want to treat it as a supplier bill. So at the end of your period, at the end of your month, you will end up paying your employee and then reimbursing him for the expenses that he incurred. So here you will select my expenses, right? And then depending on whether you want approval, we want anything that this person uploads to go for approval, or you want it to bypass approval. Depending on that, you're gonna choose the setting, right? Mostly what we have seen is most of the expense claims, it does go to approval. So it will have an approval email here, manager, owner, or whatever. You can put the approval email in. For testing, I'm just going to go ahead with bypass approval. I don't want it to go to approval, right? Or even if, let's do this, I'm just going to put myself, right? So I've just put myself, okay, that are easier to, right? So this is my expenses, and then there we go. So now the way I've configured it is both my spend money, they don't need approval, but if I upload anything with expense claim setting, then it will go to approval for on this email, right? Again, we get unique email address for each of these. You can choose whether to use email or whether to use the mobile phone app. Now, the settings are complete. Anyone, do you have any questions about the how you do the these settings for spend money or expense claims in EasyBills phone app? Any questions so far? If you have them, pop them in the chats before I move to the next part of the settings, which is in the phone app. So Kim's asking, can we have two approval for expense claims? If you mean two email addresses for one expense claim, well, it is possible. You can just put a comma and then you can put the second email address. However, the way EasyBills then will work is we will send approval email to both the email address. But whosoever approves it first, the expense claim is now approved, and then it will move forward. It will go to your zero. Oh, two levels of approval. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is just one level, right? After this, you can just go enable approval and click single level, and then you can put an email address. So that means it will go to this person first, and then it will go to single level, whichever you've put in the email address. That's fine. Yeah, obviously you can have up to 4 levels of approvals, even on spend money and expense claims. That's pretty standard. I've shown you the half part of configuring a spend money in your EasyBills account. I am going to move to the mobile phone app, configure these 3 settings in the phone app, and then you will understand how you can have one phone app and multiple settings. So as you can see here, we just did a bit testing which went into draft bills to pay here, right? So that is without any settings. We process it as a supplier bill, right? So now what I'm gonna do when I move to my phone app, along with that, we're gonna add all these 3 different settings. K.exp is going to be expense claim setting. ANZ main is spend money for ANZ card, and Westpac is spend money for Westpac. So I'm gonna add these 3 settings to the app. So in total, we will have 4 different settings in the app. One where you upload supplier bills, and the other 3 as you see on my screen. For one for expense claims, one for ANZ credit card, and one for Westpac credit card. All right, so now I'm gonna move to EasyBills phone app again, and then we will add these 3 settings there. All right, so now we are back onto the phone app. We saw that as soon as we click, so we've connected the phone app with EasyBills account, and then we've uploaded a few receipts, right? Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna add those settings that we just added in EasyBills account in the phone app, right? Obviously, what we need to do is we need to go into settings first. Now, as you can see, you have username, which shows you your EasyBills account username, then you have alias name. This is where we will put the names that we have put in your EasyBills account, right? In your EasyBills settings. But as of now, we only have one account. The highlighted section in the green NZ branch section, that's only one account. And we want to add 3 more settings, right? So what needs to be done? The first thing that we need to do is either the option is you can either type alias here and then have it saved, right? Correct. And then now I have added Kedar EXP. I believe you all saw that. So I went to here, I went inside alias name, and then I typed Kedar EXP, which is and the name we decided for my employee expense claim setting. And then I'm just simply, I clicked on back. That's it. Now on my main screen, I can see at the top that NZ branch, my EasyBills username has been shown. And in the brackets, I see the extra alias setting that I just added, right? Now, if I upload anything with these settings, it will go as an employee expense claim, correct? So, and before we test it, the question here is, we wanted to add 3 settings. So if I go back to my setting, it's not feasible for me to keep changing the alias name and remember, right? So what we want to do, we want to add those settings and we want to store it in the phone app. So to add more settings, what we need to do is we need to add more accounts. So I'm going to click on add account, right? I'm going to click on add account and I'm going to do the scanning of the QR code process again. So I get more accounts. And then once I have once I have 3 lines, I will just assign an alias to each of them. Let's do this and it will be more clear to you. First, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 3 more accounts because in total, we want 4 settings. First one is normal supplier bills, and then the 3 that we just saw in EasyBills account. So I'm just going to click add account. I'm going to click on login with QR code again. And I'm going to scan the QR code on the PDF file, right? Now you can see as soon as I have scanned the QR code, I've just got an additional row of NZ branch. I've an additional connection and it has 2 buttons. One is remove and the other is connect, correct? Before we go ahead and do any changes, let's just go and add 2 more connections to the same account. So I'm just gonna repeat the same process. I'm gonna click on add accounts again. I'm gonna click on login with QR code again. I'm gonna scan the QR code again, right? So now I have 3 connections. One more to go, add accounts, login with QR code, scan the QR code. Now we get 4 rows of connections, right? And one of them, which is highlighted in green, already has an alias assigned to it, which is Kedar EXP. So that is already an expense claim alias. What we want to do now is we want to assign the other 2 alias. So what we will do, you can just click on connect to any other. There's 3 different rows. You can just click on connect on any one of us, right? So I've clicked on connect for this one, and then it brings me back to scan now page. But so since we are adding settings, we got to go back to settings. And then in alias, I will put in the one of the other 2. So I'm going to put in A and Z main, right? So you will also get the list of alias in that PDF file. So you can just have a look there and you can simply add it. And once I have added that, if I click back, now we have 2 of the settings that we wanted. We want to add one more. And now you already know, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on connect to one. There's still 2 more to go NZ branch. I'm just gonna click on connect on either of them, go to settings again, and then just type in the 3rd alias, which is Westpac. right? I'm going to click on back arrow at the top. So I get the Westpac Kedar setting. Let me check if it's correct. Yep. All right. So now if I go, now the configuration is complete. As you can see, now we have NZ branch. I'm just going to click connect to the normal NZ branch, right? Now we have this. If there is no extra setting, nothing is in the brackets, it just shows you your username. That means anything you upload will go as a supplier bill. This is your default view, right? When you connected that for the first time, this is how it was. So this is your default. Anything if you click a picture now, it will go as a supplier bill and it will go into your draft bills to pay section. But let's say if I have a receipt and I want to upload it on one of the alias, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly switch the account. Now, if I want to upload this into ANZ main account, I'm just going to click on connect. So now I have the alias active, which is ANZ main. I'm going to click on scan now, find the receipt, and then I'm just going to click picture. That's it, done. Right? Invoice uploaded successfully. Now, I uploaded that on ANZ main. And if I want to upload something else on, let's say Westpac, let's go with that. So I'll go into settings. I'll switch the account which I'm connected to. Whenever I'm coming into my account, I can see that it's ANZ main. The current active account is ANZ main, but the receipt that I have, the spend that I've just done is not from ANZ card, it's from Westpac card. So what I've got to do is I've got to go to settings. I've got to switch it to the Westpac. And then I'm gonna click on scan now. And we'll just use a different receipt. I'm just gonna go with something from my gallery. Let's go with Bunnings. All right. All right, so invoice uploaded successfully. So now what we have done is I uploaded one receipt from ANZ main. I uploaded one from Westpac. The only thing that's left is process something as a expense claim now. So I'm just gonna click connect on expenses. Click scan now. Again, I'm gonna use something from the gallery. Let's go with this one. Invoice uploaded successfully. All right. Now, so I have used each alias to upload a document. We will go back to EasyBills, but before going back, I would like to know if are there any questions or was this clear to all of you? All we did was we had 3 different settings to configure in the mobile phone app, right? So for each setting, we need one connection with EasyBills account. So we went with add accounts, scanned the QR code again. We just repeated that process for as many times as we require to accommodate the alias. We had 3 aliases with this testing, ANZ main, Westpac, and Kedar expense claims. So 3 alias, which is special settings for either spend money or expense claims. And 4th one is your default. You always want to have default, right? If you want to upload something as supplier bill, you need to have that setting as well. So 1 default, 3 settings. So we needed 4 connections in the app. So we repeated the add account process 3 times. So in total, we got 4 connections. And then we assigned one of the connections to one of the settings from the alias. And assigning simply means you click on connect to the connection and then put a name in the alias name at the top. Put a name in the alias name at the top here. That's it, simple. If you want to change something, you can simply click connect. As soon as you click connect, you can go to alias name and then you can change it. All right, so this now completes the setup part of spend money or expense claims because we added them as users in your EasyBills account first, and then we configured them on your mobile phone. Any questions so far? All right, so we have a question here. What if we have different usernames, like if you have multiple accounts in EasyBills. Okay, got it. So whenever you're going to add account, whenever you go to this process, it asks you to log in with QR code. Even if you have multiple entities in EasyBills and you want to configure them in the same phone app, that is possible as well. Only thing you need to do is when you click on login with QR code and the QR code that you're about to scan, it has to be from the entity that you want to connect to, right? For example, now our current connections that have are from NZ branch. Let's say I go to a different account. Right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to connect to a different EasyBills entity altogether. So I'm just gonna click add accounts and log in with QR code. So just to show you, now this is a different entity which says Brisbane branch, right? So I'm just gonna go in settings and scan the QR code of from a different entity. That's it. Now you can see as soon as I've scanned a QR code from different entity, the last row says Brisbane branch. And if I click connect, that's Brisbane branch. So that's a different entity in EasyBills, correct? So if you can see in my phone app now, I have 4 connections to NZ branch. That's one entity. And I have 3 different settings in there. And then I have 1 connection to Brisbane branch. Now, if you happen to have more settings in your Brisbane branch entity as well, like spend money, expense claims, different cards, you can follow the same process of add account, scan the QR code, and then type in the alias because you get the alias option on each setting, right? As soon as you do that, you've configured another entity as well, right? So now we have uploaded one receipt and one bill from each of the settings that I have here in NZ branch. I'm gonna go back to EasyBills, and then we will see how and where it gets exported, right? All right, so let's go back. Okay, so I'm back in EasyBills now, right? So if I go to search approve, right, so let's see. Identifying how the receipts have come, I'm gonna give you a bit more insight, tips and tricks as well, right? So I uploaded 3 different things. One was I uploaded for Westpac account, one was ANZ main, and the last one was expense claim. So whenever your users on the field are using any alias and you want to know whether that alias setting is right or not, you can always look in EasyBills. When the bills come in, you can look at the file name, right? So now this one, it says anzmain.jpg. That means it was used, ANZ main alias was used, right? Now, and we already know this ANZ main, it's the spend money setting that we have configured on 5896 card, right? So if we look at here, successfully exported supplier invoice to spend on this card. So let's go in zero, have a look. Yeah, so you can see EasyBill straight away puts it into ANZ main account and under bank account as an unreconciled transaction, right? How come this helps you? So when you have this transaction sitting in your bank account or credit card, and at the end of the month, when you get your statement, bank statement or credit card statement, you upload that in Xero, reconciliation is going to happen within minutes. Xero is going to match the amounts from statement to the amounts that are already here, and then you just need to click OK. So your reconciliation is going to be really easy. Either it's credit card or it's bank account, right? If I go to ANZ main, you will see it on the account transactions page as well. It also says it's unreconciled, right? Once at the end of the month you reconcile it, then it's going to be reconciled. And in reference, you can see the alias name as well, ANZ main. That is the reason I said if you have one account which has multiple child cards or sub cards or additional cards, but you only get one statement, and in your office or at where you work, you have 6 different people using 6 different cards, that is when you choose the alias name with the card number that ends, with the sub card, and then you in the business bank account, you have the main account. So for example, I have 3 people, Teddy, Matt, and Bruno, right? And the cards that they have different numbers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add them as Teddy. Maybe the card I have given him has 4, 5, 6, 7 number, but the main card is again the ANZ one, which is 5896. So this is how I will add, right? So in one go, when EasyBills is gonna export it, it will export in the correct account against which the reconciliation is done. However, you will have this name Teddy4567 in your zero as well, in your here as well. So by looking at this screen, if you want to ask, if you want to know why expense was high or something like that, you know who has uploaded it, you know which sub card was it, so you can just get in touch with that person. That's one way of doing it if you would want to do it, right? All right, so we saw that spend money transaction goes here, it sits here. Let's go and check the other one, Westpac one. So this one, it again, the file name EasyBills is rename it to the alias name. That's the way we know that the user at the other end has entered the correct alias in his phone. If you see the name has spelling mistakes, or if you see it's not correct and it's not as equal, like similar to what you have in the settings, it is not going to be processed as a spend money. Rather, it will be processed as a supplier bill. Because if they get the alias wrong, the setting will not work. Now, if you want to look at this one, it will go in your Westpac account. So there you go, bank accounts, Westpac credit, and it sits as unreconciled transaction. And you always, EasyBills always attach the PDF file, the original PDF file that was uploaded, right? Spend money is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, right? Let's go to the expense claim one, which was the last one we tried. So you can see that this Kedar EXP that has come in and it says it's waiting for email approval at Radar. Why? Because when we configured it as an email, like we didn't say go and bypass approval. We said send approval email to this one. So it has sent an approval email. If we go to EasyBills here, we will have received an approval email. There you go. That's the approval email. You can cross check. It says there's expense claim for this one. I'm just going to approve it straight away. So it's been approved now in about a few minutes. It will be exported to zero and it will be exported as a supplier bill. But K.EXP will be the supplier name for that receipt because it's an expense claim, right? We create the alias as a supplier. So at the end of your cycle, you end up paying your employee, ending up in reimbursing the amount, right? And this was level 1, like this is direct approval. And if you want to have additional approvals after this, you can just configure them here. You can just enable with approval, and then you can enable single level. So first it goes to the person in the table, and then it will go to the second person, whosoever you have set in the settings. So that's how you can achieve 2 levels of approvals. And if you want to get it custom, if you want to have more than 2 levels, you can just reach out to us on support and then tell us your conditions, and then we will get back to you on configuring that approval. Right. So I approved it, and it has now exported into 0. Let's go scene 0. So you see the supplier is K.EXP. That is the alias itself, right? And then you get total, you get attachment. So even if you now go to bills to pay section, even here, you will be able to see which employee expense claim it is for, because at the top here, straight away, you will see the name. So this is Kedar EXP. That means it's an expense claim for Kedar, and you gotta pay him at the end of your month. All right, so that was about expense claim setting. And in your settings, now I just showed how you add the settings. Now this was just for me, right? For one person, but you might have multiple employees. Exactly the same method. You have to just decide a name. You have to type a name, put in the right settings, and then you've got to click on the Save Approval button. You can add as many users as want. And once you have added the users, all of them have been added, then you go in your account settings and then you download the file, right? Why? Because once you've added users and then you download the file, so along with the QR code, you will get the list of all the users that you have added. So I just had two before when I downloaded it. So I just had two, so I have two. If I download it again, we will get the list of all. So if I just click on it again, within a moment, I will receive an email and that will have the list of all the users that I have added. Yeah, there you go. So now I've refreshed it. Just the newly downloaded file has all the three alias settings, right? And it also tells you what is that setting for. For example, this one, it's linked with the bank account 1478. ANZMN is linked with the bank account 596. Kedar EXP is just for expense claims for that user. And then you send this file, you download this file and you send it to the person who you want to give access to your EasyBills account. Okay, so we have one question here which says, is there any limit? All right, so there is no limit on how many users you can add because we practically give you unlimited users and unlimited approvals, right? So there is no limit on how many users you can add. And in the phone app, it's also there's no limit, but obviously one phone app, one person, he might have 4 or 5 different settings, right? Unless you're a bookkeeper and then you have like 20 accounts and you want to client dumps all the bills on you and then you want to quickly upload everything. So that's you can do that as well. Like you can have your phone app connected it to all your clients' accounts. Only thing is whenever you are uploading the receipts or bills, you need to cross-check which account you are uploading in. You just go to settings, or when you're cross-checking, it's just when you open the app at the top, look at the top, right? If it shows you the username and if you are in special settings, it shows you the special settings in the brackets as well. As soon as you open the screen, you see the username is correct, the client's username, and you're just going uploading supplier bills. There's no problem at all. Just click scan now and start uploading bills. That works too. All right, moving on to the last part wherein how can you achieve special something like if you want to achieve something special, like you are using Simpro, you're using some other software, and then what you want to do is you want to have your app to have access to that. So you upload something and then it's going to Simpro. So for this case example, I'm using Simpro, but you can perhaps, this is just an example and it can be used for any other systems as well, right? So the way we work with the software is workflow, right? So you will have a workflow, which is your Zero workflow, which throws document in your Zero. You will have a workflow for Simpro, which throws document on purchase POs in Simpro. You will have a workflow wherein which throws document on contractor work orders on Simpro, so on and so forth, right? Now, what you want to do is you want to have access on the app so you can put that document on Simpro on PO, right? So then all you need to do is, again, this includes adding an alias setting. So you can go into approvals and expenses. This is where now you're going to add a setting, right? So I'm going to click add approval again. And let's say I want to put bills on Simpro PO. So I'm just going to say Simpro, right? So now I have added a name. I'm still yet to add settings. And by this time, I'm hoping all of you know, once we add an alias name here, how to add it in your mobile phone app, right? So I'm not going to explain that one. Let's go with this setting. So I've added a name, SimproPO. Now we are not adding this. The objective here is neither spend money nor expense claims. The objective here is to allow uploading bills or receipts from phone app into that workflow. So in that case, what we need to do is first, if it depends, if you want to have approvals, you can add approval email, or if you don't want to have approval, you can just straight away take bypass approval, right? So bypass approval as in anything the phone app using this alias is going to add, it's going to go straight onto what we will point it to. And in this setting, you will see there is a workflow option here, right? So if you click here, if you click underneath the workflow in the row that we've just added, you will get a drop down, right? If you click on that drop down, you're going to see the workflows, right? So there is zero bills and there is SimproPO. I'm just going to select SimproPO check and I'm going to click on save approve, right? Now what I have done is I have added an alias, which I will then add into my mobile phone app setting. And to that alias, I have added a setting that anything that comes from this alias, I want EasyBills to bypass approval. And then I want EasyBills to put that document on SimproPO check. So we're selecting workflow in this table, right? And as soon as you select that workflow, whenever you use that alias to upload something, EasyBills will automatically move that document onto the correct workflow, right? And you can have multiple settings that if you're using multiple workflows, like some have 2 levels of approval, some have 3 levels of approval, some might have custom task as to split account code or split job or whatever it could be, right? If you want to have a way from your uploading bills or receipts to that particular workflow, this is how you do it. You add a name, right? The name, and when you add a name, just try to add a name which relates to the workflow. So you don't have to think or remember. Because this is SimproPO check, I have added name Simpro. If it was a split job workflow, I would have added alias split job, right? And then I'm going to add same alias in my mobile phone app by going into settings, add new account, same process, add new account, connect with QR code, and then add an alias. Once I add alias SimproPO, select it, and once I upload any receipt or bill, it will then go on to that SimproPO check workflow, and then it will follow the SimproPO process, the workflow process. And if you have multiple workflows, you can select them here as well, right? So you can add one alias for one workflow, have same in your mobile phone app, and that's how you can use your mobile phone app to achieve lots of different things like uploading on specific workflows, etc., etc. All right, so if we do not have questions anymore, I will conclude the session. Thank you everyone for being here. If you get questions about this topic after, just feel free to send us an email on to support email address. So, or you can send an email to my email address as well, kedar@ecdoc.com. Yeah, let us know any questions, any queries. Thank you for coming here today. Thank you for your time. Have a good one. Bye-bye. See you soon.